for the Clover Hill Live show.
Are we gonna lift
And
or just
make up some moves.
Are we gonna lift or just break?
Well, it depends if there are people in the break room.
We are here. We're at the Y. Random breaking. This is the floor shiny.
We're about to go out there, break. And of course, a little step. My leg feels like shizai.
All right, Karen. What's going down tonight?
I'm ready. I'm tired. Shit. Just got out of soccer trial. But I'm ready.
All right.
I'm feeling good.
Good?
Excited.
I'm really excited about the show tonight. I'm excited about the part where me and Alex hang out in the show.
Yeah.
It's coming in its second act.
I know you're excited.
I would have been excited.
I know. I had to do a lot of acting.
Hold up.
Hey, what is this for? Is this for you?
No.
So in our first year on the step team, like Gavin and Kimmy and I, like all the originals and Ashley too, always knew about this Hermitage team. That Hermitage was just crazy, and like people never believed us when we said like they do backflips and like human jump ropes and all this stuff like while stepping, and just do all this crazy stuff that makes you just want to cry when you see them. And Fluvana is where we always competed against them, because you don't compete against Hermitage at their competition because, you know, they host it. So Fluvana was the first competition where you compete against Hermitage.
So for Fluvana High School, we had this big idea about some big dance routine in the end. We were going to take advantage of the fact that everybody loves Steven's dancing. So, you know, we had some comedy in the end of the show. The whole show was planned out well. It was going to be a good show. We all met up at the school nice and early. Competition day just arrived, Clover Hill.
What's going down today? We go well, everybody tell the step competition. That's what we gonna do.
That's right, that's right.
Y'all mean.
Hey, Kim.
Hey, Alex.
Tell us what's going on.
Let's go practice.
Isn't Gavin too? Hey, Beef. Let's go see what's going on.
Yo. Jessica, you're not moving.
Show me what you know. Pretty lady, gon' do that dance. Pretty lady, gon' do that dance. Come on, let's go. Sexy mama, gon' do that dance. Sexy mama, gon' do that dance. Come on, let's go. Pretty lady, gon' do that dance. Pretty lady, gon' do that dance.
So then we get on the bus. We go to Fluvana High School.
We're on the bus.
This is the beginning of the journey. When the teams look at each other, they form judgments. And when we get there, you know, they bring us to the back room. This is when we meet our second big enemy. Miss B told us to be nice and go introduce ourselves.
Be nice people.
And we did that. And okay, so what?
We're just so friendly.
So what happened? What happened?
Okay, keep this. Okay, wait, Sean, we gotta turn this thing.
I'll pause it.
Okay, this is what happened.
All right, we go over.
Don't look over there.
We go over to James River, right? And you know, we mingle, we say hi, whatever. And somebody goes, what they say? What they say?
I told them that we was over here and everything, and it was like, oh, they the ones that stole our stuff. They gonna be doing our stuff and stuff like that. And I was like, I ain't saying nothing because I don't respond to ignorant comments and stuff like that. But it just upset me. They the James River Rapids. They can go ahead and drown in the water. I don't want to camcorder them. They're not worth the film.
Don't waste the tape.
Any comments on James
I ain't got none. They ain't worth my words. My vocabulary too big for them.
We're like, what's up with James River? We had no idea that they had beef with us. I remember they did like this big introduction, and the whole band came out, and they're dancing and they're performing forever. And then we see all the other step teams lining up. You know, so this is when we start to get the hint that maybe these people don't like us. We see all the other step teams lining up and they're all in uniform. So I go down to the lady, I'm like, why is everybody in uniform? And she's like, y'all are supposed to be in uniform. I was like, nobody ever told Chaos to get in uniform. And she was like, well, y'all should have known. So she has an attitude with me. I'm like, alright, whatever. So Chaos runs to get changed real quick, and we come back and the competition gets started. I think Hermitage High School came out and they performed, and Hermitage is crazy. They've been one of the best step teams in this area for a long time. So eventually Chaos goes out, we perform our show, and we do pretty well.
That performance was tight. Like, it was on everything. It was so crazy. Like, just going into it a lot. That was the first time that we did this ripple thing, like this, the big wave ripple, and then locking it up and all this stuff, and had some crazy speaking parts. Outro. We got to the outro. I can't even remember what song came on, but like Gavin goes into the middle, you know, does some windmills. Four girls come up around like, oh yeah, and everyone's getting down. Then Steven comes from out of nowhere, pushes Gavin out, starts doing his little, like, you know, white boy dance or whatever, and the crowd goes wild. Even the judges were like, oh, dang, that's tight, cha-ching. We got off the stage, everyone's like, dang, they can really step. When we first went into Fluvana for our first years, like, people just laughed at us and talked through our whole routine. It was 10 minutes of us trying to step over people, like, laughing and talking and making their own jokes and stuff like that. So this last year, that was when we sort of had to prove ourselves. And that was a big smack in the face to everybody, because that was when people started taking us seriously.
And then it was time to announce like first, second, and third place. But before that, they had this big, like, 5 million hour long presentation of, you know, people dancing and playing band and stuff. We knew that we did real well. They announced third place, and it's some team. I don't even remember who it was. They announced second place, and I think it was second place that was Hermitage High School. So they announced Hermitage High School, and they still hadn't announced Chaos yet. So on the tape, you can see Ron's like, what if we won first place, you know what I'm saying, above Hermitage? And then they announced first place, and it's not us. So we're like, alright, we didn't even place top 3, even though the crowd and the judges went crazy, but okay, whatever. So we didn't place at that show. So we go back to the back room, the buses are leaving, the coordinators are still being real rude to us. Me and a couple people were locked out of one particular door, and we were knocking, and then they were like, we can't let you in this door. Tell me why some other girl went to that same door and they let her right in. At this point, I'm just getting real mad because the coordinators are just being real rude to Chaos the whole time. So we get to the back room to get our stuff, and we're about to leave, right?
We're looking at the score sheets, and it says we got a 92 out of, 100 something.
And somebody was like, whoa, what's going on here? And somebody said, how can you take 5 numbers, which are like, in the hundreds, how can these numbers add up to be 92?
So it turned out when we added up the numbers ourselves, we actually beat Hermitage by like 3 or 4 points. So we're like, oh snap, son.
This is something that has always bugged me about that. If you're in charge of adding up the scores and you have like a bunch of teams, you got like 10 or 20 teams to add up, why are you going to go through one paper at a time and add up the total, add up the total, and then when you get to Clover Hill Chaos, you're going to add it up and then divide by like 7.
The judges realized their mistake. Now, alright, not just one. Alright. How do you mess up on a percentage when you're doing this for every school for like some like 15 teams and then just having to mess up on us? 2, it's us. I don't know. It could be a little conspiracy thing going on. I'm not calling any names or nothing, but I don't know. So anyway.
So we brought it to the attention of one of the coordinators, and she was like, oh, that's a mistake. We're like, yeah, it's a mistake. We had actually beaten Hermitage High School. Proud to say that.
Come on, touch it down to the floor. Come on.